These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, October 18th. And the preseason is almost over. The Celtics have one preseason game left. It is tonight. As you're listening to this, we will be live on playback during the game. It only took me 15 seconds into the show to mention playback.
No longer asking.
No, we want you there. Join the playback. Playback.tv/How About Them Celtics. No apostrophe in the URL. But if you are searching on playback, make sure to include that apostrophe.
Just as you
for
see
the B
above us.
Yes, go check us out there. Watch the game live with us tonight. As you're listening to this, we'll be live for pregame as well. But come hang out. Anyways, Celtics took on the Knicks last night. Porzingis was great. Tatum got to work in the post. We're going to be talking about all of that with our good friend John Karalis, who will be joining the show shortly to talk all things Celtics. Check in with the email, do the NBA stuff, all that good stuff. I think we're going to have John do the rat list too. We're recording this part before we talk to John, so it'll be a good time. But I say it every time because as we get closer and closer, and I'll stop saying it once the season starts and not until then, boy, oh boy, does it feel good to have basketball back, man. It's so nice. It's just so
we
nice.
We are a week away as we record this from real games. Real opener will be Wednesday night. It'll be in New York. I'm sure Porzingis will get a nice hand as he returns. No, he won't. But I hope he has a big game against the Knicks. He was great yesterday. Thought the team as a whole looked pretty decent. There were things I didn't love. Wish they got off to a better start. They did play against New York's backups. Thought Tatum looked excellent. He was very aggressive in the right spots. His threes were falling. He was very, very headstrong when deciding to post up. So I like that too. Happy to see him getting to the basket more and more this preseason. He's only played twice, I guess, but.
Yeah, I agree. We did a whole video after the game on the YouTube channel. Make sure to go check that out. We talked about the Celtics Knicks game a bit more in depth. Then we'll probably cover on this podcast. We'll probably look at more storylines in general. But Celtics did take down the Knicks, which was fun to watch. The starters play seamlessly together. They look really good. So that was fun. Yeah, anything else you want to talk about before we jump over to our chat with Karalis? They do still do that. I think John asked about that last night. He said, you guys slipped there in the middle of the game. What was that? And so maybe you ask him about that when we talk to him.
Yeah, like Brad traded away kind of the whole roster. You guys still hate being up a lot of points. That's how he should have asked it. Exactly like that. Condescending, like a prick.
I really hope you don't phrase your questions like that when you go to games. Maybe you should not ask Joe like that.
Not until I'm comfortable.
Or ever.
No, like you become boys with them and you can bust their balls. That's how it goes.
I don't know about that.
I probably won't ask questions at least the first time I go. Maybe I will, but I won't ask them like that.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right. Anything else? Should we throw it over to our interview with John?
Throw it over. Make sure you loosen up first. You don't want to hurt your shoulder.
It's our pleasure to welcome John Karalis of Locked On Celtics, the biggest Celtics podcast in the world, the biggest team-focused podcast in the world of basketball, at least. Is that correct, John? This is royalty we've got here on the
podcast. It's a fluid kind of ranking system. So on some days I am in the top 10 of all basketball podcasts, and some days I'm down a little bit further. It's kind of like a momentum-based kind of thing. It's more, I think, an indicator of when big things happen, like the Drew Holiday trade, that people are choosing to turn to my podcast, which is just as good. Like, I don't think it's consistently like up there in the top 10, but it's up there enough. It's hard for a single, a team focused podcast to just kind of be up there all the time, but I'm glad it's there at all.
Yeah, the up and down keeps you humble, right? You're not king of the world.
I mean, look, there are plenty of things. I don't need that to be the only thing that keeps me humble. There's plenty of ways that I screw up on a daily basis, and I go, okay, yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, I think we peaked at 120 on that same list, so this is just as truly peasants to royalty here. So thank you for joining us on the podcast. I think this is the I think I counted the 7th time you've been on the show with us, including that Celtics Jeopardy, which I know you definitely had a great time doing with us earlier this year.
That was the time.
Might have been a mess.
That
might have been my fault.
I'm kidding.
We've improved upon the format since then. We're excited for you guys to come back and let us redeem ourselves. But we can get into actual relevant Celtic stuff, or what could potentially be relevant Celtic stuff, I should say. The Celtic City Edition jersey may or may not, we think, have leaked on Twitter. I know Sam was very mad before we started this recording because he doesn't like it when it's a white jersey, because he likes the home whites better.
Yeah,
this is definitely
in the game.
I mean, what are your initial thoughts, John, on this City Edition jersey?
I hope not. Well, look, I'm, as much as I have done a lot when it comes to Celtics history, and I am very appreciative of Celtics history and all of that stuff. I'd like to see them get a little funky with some of these City Editions. Like, I don't know if it's coming from the team, the league, or whatever, but like, get creative with it. This has no creativity. It's a gold stripe. It's, what is that, Arial font with a drop shadow?
It's Times New Roman.
It's really like, yeah, it's a sans serif font with a drop shadow, and that's it. Like, I literally did this in high school when I first realized, like, you could, my first Photoshop experience, so you can curve text. I was like, ooh, you can curve text? This is amazing. So you set the arc at about 50 degrees. You put a little drop shadow there. You select gold for the drop shadow, and that's the logo. That's it. That's all you got. Ugh. It's if that's where Nike is, then they got to rethink this whole concept of new City Edition jerseys every year. Like, do we need new jerseys every season? It's really lost its luster.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of insulting after Pete Rogers did 57 jerseys last year, and they just went with this. Like, he's just
they need Pete
on the keys every night, putting out something that's really thoughtful.
You've got
put together.
You've got the Dunkin' Donuts version behind you. Like, do something that's creative. I think the gas tank with the paint is a good. I've been pushing for a green line, green shorts, white top, black band type of thing that looks like a green line train in front of the old North Station Boston Garden. Do something. Get funky. This is. I just hope this is bad, because this looks like is a knockoff that they sell outside of an arena, or maybe if you go to a flea market or some sort of dollar store, Ocean State job lot, where you don't have the rights to. I'm from Rhode Island, so when you don't have the rights to the Celtics, you can put the name of a city in certain sort of colors. Like, this is something that when I was a kid and my parents came over from Greece and they're immigrants, they don't know any better. Like, this is what my mom would have got me. Like, I asked for a Michael Jackson jersey and she got me a Jeffrey Osborne. A Michael Jackson record, and she got me a Jeffrey Osborne record. This is the Jeffrey Osborne record of jerseys. Terrible.
This is the you rock up at North Station and the guys selling the jerseys and the sweatshirts on the rack at the station.
The fact that there's an NBA logo attached to it, like, this is the knockoff stuff. This is the stuff that you get for $15.99 at Marshall's. This is not an actual NBA jersey. It can't be.
It's assault, is what it is.
Sam's not a fan. I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, just get that T jersey that Sam has in the background. So sick. It's creative.
I like
it's
that.
unique.
Yeah.
Pete's the GOAT. We had Pete on last year to rank his jerseys. He did a Geno time jersey. He did a jersey based on the Zakem Bridge. There's so much.
Pinstripes.
Yes. And you can get that. Now, the good thing, what he's been doing is just jerseys. So he hasn't expanded into using the shorts as part of the the thing. Like, I think you can do a Zakem bridge idea using the shorts, like the V from the bottom of the shorts up to the waistband, and then the side piping on the jersey as one of the spires, and then across the front you've got the cables. Like, that whole thing can be done very, very nicely because the shape fits exactly what the side of a jersey would do. And then, like, I think there are so many ways you can get creative. How has Nike not thought of this stuff? You can still do green and white and gold, but incorporate some of Boston in that.
Right.
You got to hire Pete.
At least they didn't get the heat culture ones. Have you seen the leaks of those? They're terrible.
Oh no. Oh God.
Oh, we got to pull it up. Hold. Yeah. Let me pull this up. We're at
ruin John's afternoon.
John.
Tell me it doesn't say heat culture.
It says heat and then culture underneath. But the culture, you're going to be none too pleased with the font if you didn't like the Boston font.
I gotta find it. Oh man, wait.
It
might.
Culture Club, like Guild Culture Club, like with Boy George. And
this is the one. This is the one that leaked. It might be a different one now, but this is the one that leaked.
Isn't that terrible?
What? Oh my! God.
It's tragic. I mean, John, which is worse though, this or this Bulls one that leaked?
I mean, at least. I mean, that's a lot of negative space. What are you doing? It's like, make the number bigger, do a logo on the side, something. Oh.
Mm-hmm. That said, there was one that popped up when I searched it that Orlando posted a tease of these Heat jerseys. Like,
I don't mind that. That's definitely the back of the Heat.
He said this would be so much better than the Heat culture ones. This looks to be the back of the Heat culture ones they had, which also pointed out by Twitter user. It looks like Rockets red, which is like, I don't know. Who knows? We did a whole jersey catch up segment on our pod last time out, and there are some truly questionable ones going around the league right now.
Nike meltdown.
If you don't have a jersey concept that's going to be actually good, like the Miami Vice jerseys were cool. Like, that was different. It was cool and unique.
Should have never got rid of them.
Yeah, at that point, if you're not gonna like find something cool or unique, just don't drop.
Well, I think Zach Lowe mentioned this in a podcast or in a column recently. He was doing his most watchable teams league pass rankings, and he made a great point that not only do these jerseys, because they keep cycling, just drain the creativity out of the people designing them. When you hit on one, they don't keep them. So, like, when you hit on a great idea and everybody loves them, just keep them, make them part of the rotation. You can just come up with a different plan, like, later on. I don't know. I feel like, you know what I miss? I miss the special kind of nature of the alternate jerseys that every once in a while you'd say, they'd go through a season or two with the same set of like home road and one alternate or two alternates. And then all of a sudden St. Patrick's Day comes along and it's like, oh, look at this. Here's this awesome green and gold.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite Celtics jersey, the St. Patrick's Day jerseys with the gold and everything. Oh my God. So good. And then you'd have them every once in a while. But the rotation is just so all over the place, and you get a good idea and you don't get to keep it anymore. It's just, I don't know.
White on the road.
How many jerseys has Nike made since they got this? Like, how many thousands of jerseys have they made for NBA? It's just, you can't possibly come up with good ideas anymore.
It's a lot. All right, moving away from the jerseys, let's get into the Celtics and what they've been doing this preseason. Yeah, the positive is, let's just start with Porzingis, because I know this has been a topic we've talked about. He's been fucking awesome. Like, he's just been really fun to watch. Like, to put it plain and simple, like, he's been really fun. The smile has not left his face. Anytime you ask him about anything to do with the Celtics Boston, yeah, Sam's been calling him a rescue puppy because the Celtics finally got him out of Washington.
A nice home.
Situations. So that's what he's been. I tweeted a video of like all the Celtics cycling through these backup centers and Brad Stevens finally finding Porzingis.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get 100 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. It absolutely is. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
It just seems like the fit is so perfect. He's more open than he ever has been on offense, and he's taken advantage of it. His defense has looked really fun. He's trapping, he's dropping back, he's protecting the rim. What are your initial thoughts on Porzingis? Like how he fits, what he can do for this team? Because it looks like he's just going to completely transform the way they play on both ends.
Yeah, he does. I'm, as a skeptic originally of the deal, I am fully on board with it right now. It didn't take long to convince me of the vision. And
that first step back three, John was like, yeah,
right.
Yeah, step back, 2 super cool dunks on board.
The first thing that I was like, oh crap, here we go. This is going to be it. It was the pin down. He said a pin down for Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen got to the middle of the lane and kicked it back to him. He took that one left-handed dribble and rose up for mid-range jumpers. In the first game against Philly, it was probably the second or third shot that he took. Once I saw that simple pin down action, very simple, Jaylen Brown comes out of the corner, and all of a sudden you start to see, okay, Jaylen in the mid-range shot, playoff shot. This is why I love it so much. Playoff shot. You got to hit that shot, get that shot in the playoffs. That's going to be there, and that's a money shot for him. Oh, they collapse on him because that's a bread and butter shot for him. You kick it back to Porzingis in a place where he can make a shot. And if for some reason they recover on him, he had Derek White up at the 3-point line. If they recover on him, swing, you had Al Horford in the court. Like so many options. You can just start playing the permutations from one simple pin down. But because he is 7'3" and he can hit the shot over somebody and deck it, take one dribble and escape and get to an easy look, it's such a dynamic element. As soon as I saw that one play, I'm like, oh, wow, this offense can be scary. And that wasn't even – you can do the same thing on the other side with Al Horford and Jason Tatum and have your point guard just kind of decide which side you're going to go to, and then the other side can recover. You can play weak side action off of that, and they can find a way to get somebody else open, and that's still Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis if you go the other direction with it. So when you're talking about NBA, everything in the NBA is read and react, right? Even if every set play, it has reads and you react to those reads, and you can probably, if you do it right, it's like the NFL, every play is designed to get you a touchdown, basically. When I saw Porzingis in the early stages there, yeah, the 3-pointers are nice, and yeah, the alley-oops are nice, and you get that dynamic that you lost with Robert Williams in some of the alley-oops that you're able to throw. I think he can highlight Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White. Derek White pick and rolls with Kristaps Porzingis have been like the second biggest thing for me, because D White has the floater game, elite floater game. And because you have to respect that, you got to stay up a step higher in your drop coverage. And it allows Porzingis to just get that step behind the defense. The dynamics that he offers just offensively make me think that this team can be the number one offense in the league. And I think they could be the number one offense in the league by like multiple points over their second competition. That's how good I think this offense can be. And then you throw in the defense, where I think they're still kind of figuring themselves out. But you saw, you made a good point. Kristaps was like, hey, good eye on that one. That was a nice little moment for you. You made it, they're trapping. Porzingis has the green light to trap in certain situations. Joe has talked about a very underrated element to Porzingis being able to get out into the perimeter and move well and recover to get back to the rim. And he's so big and so long that he can do the rear view contest. He can block a shot from behind. It's the defense is still kind of, I think, a couple of steps behind the offense, but I see it. I see it with the Porzingis fit, and you add Drew Holiday to that mix, and I'm just like, well, there's a reason why Brad Stevens is running an NBA team, and there's a reason why I am sitting in my basement talking about the Celtics.
Just hanging out.
You're in the Auerbach Center, right? No, you're actually...
Oh, yes, that's right. My basement is
Well,
the Auerbach Center.
Okay.
He lives upstairs.
I live upstairs. Yes,
I wish I had basketball courts in my basement. I used to have a little hoop, but that was it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something. If I had hit the Powerball when it was like 1.7 billion, I would build a basement like this.
Me too.
Yeah, it's a dream.
Cool.
Absolutely.
One extra thing about Porzingis, we talked about the rescue puppy mentality of him, but seriously, this is such a great thing for him to bring to the team because he's all in. He's willing to sacrifice points. He's coming off a career best-ish season with the Wizards, played a bunch of games, career high in scoring, still good rebounding output too, and he was efficient. Now he joins the Celtics team where he's playing alongside all these other great, talented guys. He doesn't have to worry about his numbers, but also it's going to come so much easier for him. I'm just so pumped to have him around. And I think his attitude is great. And
I don't think anybody really understood how I don't know if he was always this kind of happy and open. Like I guess I've never seen a ton of Porzingis interviews, right? I've never really paid attention to how he's been in the scrum or anything like that, because why would I pay attention to Dallas or Washington scrums? And because he's never been in the playoffs, you don't get a lot of podium opportunities from him. So I've never seen that. Like, you ask a question that he kind of likes, he's like, yeah, that was pretty good. Like, he is engaged in the question. He's like, you mentioned something that, like, the alley-oop to the Peyton Pritchard alley-oop, he was like, oh yeah, I love that alley-oop. That was amazing. And like, who are you? Like, this is fun to have that level of engage. He just seems like a decent, like, person, and like, at least to us. And when you're in the media, you don't always get treated well. So anytime you talk about rescue puppy, it's us in the media to have that, because anytime somebody wants to come over and pet you, you're like, oh my God, I love you so much. Like,
it's true.
Yes, be nice to me. Yeah, that's great. But no, it's wild to see the attitude. It's great. It's great attitude.
Well, he didn't exactly look too happy in a Mavs. As you see on the screen now,
he doesn't exactly. It's not going well, and he doesn't have a beard. I don't have a beard, and I'm a pretty angry person.
I'm definitely cherry picking here, but he doesn't exactly look engaged as much in Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, Porzingis has looked great. It's nice to see the Celtics playing with an all-star big man. I think that's something that people thought about for a long time, like pairing the Jays with that sort of player, because you kind of saw it with the all-star all-star guards with Kemba and Kyrie, and now you're seeing it on the flip side too. Speaking of like playing with the Jays, the starting lineup last night, as we're recording this 2 nights ago, as it releases, was the guards and Porzingis and Al off the bench. Joe Mazzulla basically said, we like the energy he brought. We thought it was fine. Everyone's effectively said, oh yeah, we're fine doing whatever, which is what you expect him to say anyways.
Sure.
What do you make of the starting lineup situation? How'd you like the Drew and Derek in the starting lineup together? The whole spiel, I guess.
Yeah, it's so hard to make a determination because they played nobody, right? And they still gave up too many offensive rebounds to Mitchell Robinson. They still gave up too many second chance points, and that's going to be part of the issue with the single big lineup. If you're going to ask Porzingis to do some of the things he's been doing defensively, and if it does draw him away from the rim, then everybody on the floor has to box out. You can't have turning and watching from your wings. And so that's going to be a point of emphasis. And it's funny that Joe Mazzulla said it was a point of emphasis. Like, the more they are hammering it this year, the worse they are at it, which is weird. So there's a deficiency there that they have to figure out, and that falls on the wings to keep guys off the boards. I have been a proponent of starting Horford off the bench, so I want to see it a little bit more, but I can see the argument for either. and I think it might be matchup dependent. Like, if you play the Cleveland Cavaliers, I would start Al Horford. But if you're playing, and if you're playing the Milwaukee Bucks, you start Al Horford. If you're playing Miami, maybe you start Drew Holiday, or however they do the guard rotation. So it could just be, hey, matchup dependent. We're going to start one of these guys. The other guy's going to sit on the bench. Both of you guys have to understand that because we have 6 guys and one of them, we have the option of a guard and a big that can sit on the bench. Everybody just understand, when we play big teams, we'll start big. When we play small teams, we'll start small. It doesn't really impact everybody, but wrap your head around it now so you can get your preparation ready during the season. You'll know ahead of time. This is me as a 6-man. Get your head in the game as a 6-man walking into the arena, and vice versa. So, but I still don't know if any one option has. Well, I don't think any one option has stood out at this point, because in the first game where they had everybody, Philly didn't play Joel Embiid or James Harden. And in this game, New York didn't play anybody. So I don't know how they're going to look against better competition, good competition. So unfortunately, because of the way the schedule has worked out, we're going to have to get into regular season November. End of October, all of November is going to be a sort of extended preseason for these guys. And then maybe the best option will present itself. And I'm open to both.
Yeah. I personally was impressed with the amount of energy Horford was able to bring off the bench yesterday. It was
awesome.
kind of something that the two of us threw back and forth over the summer, because we're like, who's going to start? Even before Rob Williams was traded, it was like, do they start Rob or Al? And I was like, well, he's just like a steady player. He's not a big spark plug guy off the bench where he's loud dunks, big blocks, energy plays. But yesterday he did that. 5 straight points as soon as he came in. He was hustling, diving in for loose balls. You were surprised by that too, or do you kind of expect him to fill that role?
Well, I mean, I didn't expect him to be going this all out in a preseason game.
Preseason.
But hey, you know what? I'm impressed by it. I think the leadership that it shows is important for the rest of these guys. It's like, you get into that locker room and, Joe Mazzulla said after the game, we had 3 clips at halftime, and they were all Al Horford and the plays that he was making. And I think everybody in that locker room is like, damn, how you can't have 37-year-old Al Horford be the guy with the most energy on the floor. You can't. And like, they respect Al, and they respect what he's done and what he's capable of. And I think if you're in that locker room and Al is the guy that's out hustling everybody, it's like, all right, I got to step my game up. So hopefully that's something that catches on. Now, of course, that was halftime. They came out in the third quarter and sucked. So that blows a big old hole in my theory. But I think generally speaking, that's the type of leadership. Like, if that was the case in the regular season, Al could like pull everybody aside and be like, hey man, I'm not going to be the only one out here running. Like, if as an old man myself, if I'm out there running and the younger guys aren't running with me, I'd like slap them all across the face, line them up Three Stooges style, just right across the face, and be like, hey, I'm old. I don't need to be running like this. And I certainly am not going to be running like this if you guys are going to be walking. So wake the fuck up and join me. Get on my level, or sit down and I'll tell Joe to put in Peyton Pritchard and, Delano Banton and those guys will run. And I think Tatum and Brown, as much of a superstar as either of them are, if Al Horford is like getting in your face like that, there's very much a yes, sir, sorry, sir kind of element to that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would love to see more Three Stooges slaps in the NBA.
I'm dying for it. I think there's an opportunity.
Maybe some of the up downs too.
Every timeout after you give up a big run, the players are just sitting there on the bench. There's a great opportunity for a coach to go right across all 5 faces. They're lined up for you.
It's true.
No one's taking that. I thought Ime Udoka was big enough to actually do that and not get challenged by it. So And hey, look, Joe Mazzulla is like Taekwondo master, like or
Brazilian
Jiu-Jitsu master. You can go after him, but he'll get you in a submission hold. You'll be tapping out before the timeout's over. So yeah, let him
what
have
the training's for. They're not ready to unleash the Stooges slap just yet, but once he's ready, black belt with all the stripes, then
maybe
you'll see the Stooge slap.
Maybe it's a playoff thing. Maybe it's a
That's
playoff,
true.
a wake up. You're down. Maybe he could have unleashed it down 3-0 to Miami. Maybe after you like halfway through game 2 in that scenario, there's the Stooges slap and you don't go down 3-0.
Yeah.
Do you see the? I think it was a question on Twitter last year. Which
That's
GM,
analysis that you're not going to get anywhere else.
I love that.
That's
Well,
the analysis that gets you to the top 10.
Whatever it was.
Take fucking notes, both of you.
Well, this is, if that was analysis, this certainly is. I think this was a question on Twitter last year. Which GM coach combo would win in like a Royal Rumble fight? Like who'd beat the shit out of each other more? I mean, I don't know about Brad, but Joe would be.
Brad's getting backpacked.
I mean, you who would in a Royal Rumble? I mean, Brad's
too nice.
Maybe we say street fight. Maybe we make it a little more aggressive here.
That's worse. At least the Royal Rumble, you got ropes and stuff. You can you can duck, you can hide.
All right.
Yeah, Brad would go out quickly, but I don't know. Brad's competitive. I think Brad might be like Brad would be sneaky heel. Like he would like Johnny Cage, like drop into a split and nut punch you, and like just to survive. Yeah. Right? Can't you see Brad Stevens just being like, how like if you can turn around and trade Marcus Smart and Robert Williams in the offseason, you can point that way to distract the ref and throw salt in somebody's eyes. You can absolutely, because he wants to win. He'll do anything that it takes to win. So I think Joe Mazzulla would last a long time. But he's small, and I think some of the bigger guys can kind of pick him up and just like whatever. But I think Brad might have a few tricks up his sleeve to kind of last longer than you think.
He's gonna let the anger out. He's calm all the time.
It's true.
Yeah, maybe it's like Incredible Hulk kind of thing. Like you mess with his hair and he just snaps into a rage and blacks out, and next thing you know, he's like roundhouse kicking people.
That's why the hallways in the Auerbach Center are so big. So I've heard.
Back in the day when the wrestlers would reach under the ring and pull out brass knuckles and do some illegal shit behind the refs. That's Joe Mazzulla would just grab some random shit out of his pocket, just be like, "All right, guys, like this is done for you."
My favorite is that any foreign object was deadly. Didn't matter what it was. They would they would have something wrapped in white tape, and it's a foreign object. And it would look like this is a remote. Like they would just give it to him, and he'd be like, "Boom!" The guy would
microphones.
Yeah, like what was more deadly to an opponent in wrestling than a championship belt to the forehead? Out completely every single time. Why hit somebody with a huge chair shot when you could just hit them with that championship belt? Same effect, same thing.
You essentially just push him with the belt.
It's very simple. Like any foreign object, it didn't matter what it was. They could like. Here, he threw him a plastic water bottle. Too
soon. They did that to Kyrie.
No. John, over the summer when we were bored, we did a segment called Sam's Reddit Post of the Day. And if you don't mind, we'd like to bring it back because we saw this question and we thought you'd be a great guy for it because of how long you've been covering the league.
Okay. So I'll stumble through the read. This is from the NBA Reddit community. The poster asks, who are your top? I can't wait to explain to young NBA fans in 20 years why the stats don't tell the whole story players. They say, I hope this question makes sense. I couldn't think of a better way to word it. Anyways, this post is inspired by was XXX player from the early 2000s. Actually, great post popping up all summer. So who are some of those guys that you think you may have to be like, hey, this guy didn't suck to all the youngins when they start logging onto Twitter?
My first thought goes to the argument that I will make every time Grant Hill highlights show up, that it's not that this guy didn't suck, but my contention is that Grant Hill would have been in the conversation with Jordan and LeBron as one of the best of all time. Like, I don't think people understand exactly how amazing Grant Hill was before the ankle injuries and how much that screwed him when it was in Orlando when that really, really took hold. But early Detroit with the horrible, you're young, so you probably like those horse head, piston, like exhaust jerseys.
I think the red and blue classics are better. Just me.
Yeah, I mean that's I do too. So the only way I could put it is two entities that I hate most in basketball are Duke and the Detroit Pistons are like up there.
Wow.
Because of the old bad
Yeah.
boys, right? The bad boys. And like, yeah, the Lakers, and yeah, there's certainly some Philly stuff in there. But the old bad boys, I grew up on Celtics and bad boys and Lambeer. Like Lambeer was an ass, you know, and Isaiah Thomas. One of my favorite moments as an aside was Isaiah Thomas was at the finals a couple years ago. And I was like, Isaiah, I want to introduce myself. I'm going to pay you the best compliment that I could give you growing up in this area. I used to hate you so much. And he was like, I understand that. I get exactly what you mean. And yeah, so you combine Duke and Detroit, I should be like allergic to any player in that situation. Yet Grant Hill is absolutely my favorite of all time, like non-Celtic, without, it's not even close. So that I think is going to be my answer. It might not be exactly the spirit of what that question is, but I think going out there and explaining to people like that Grant Hill was on a path to challenge and be in the conversation with Michael Jordan. And when LeBron came in, people would have been like, can he be as good as Jordan and Grant Hill? I think Grant Hill was on that level.
Wow. So, I mean, I never got the chance to watch him as closely, but I feel like I've heard you talk about Grant Hill before.
Watch the highlights. There's a highlight.
Suns Grant Hill.
Oh, Suns. Now see, that's but this is the beauty of how good Grant Hill was. He was a god. Then he got hurt and he came back and then had an entire second career as a good role player. And he played well into like he played way longer than he should have, but he was so good that his talent carried him into his 30s and effectively into his 30s. Like, to me, that's an argument for me, because most guys that come off of an ankle injury like that and they just fade away. They're Greg Oden. They're, you know, they're that class of players. But yeah, he there's a highlight. If you just look up Grant Hill highlights packages where he abuses Scottie Pippen, and Scottie Pippen is, you know, seen as one of the best defenders of all time. I mean, unfair, like akin to the clip of Akeem Olajuwon just abusing David Robinson, and David Robinson is like one of the best centers of all time, and Dream just made him look so stupid because Dream is just a god. And like Grant kind of did the guard version of that, just driving one way, turning him around, crossing over, and then dunking on him. It was just like, whoa, like he just abused him. But then any other answer would be like guys who were shortened by injury, like a Brandon Roy. Like Brandon Roy is a guy that, I mean, I think the problem is in relation to the question is the numbers looked good and then he just kind of faded away. So it's less convincing people that Brandon Roy was, you know, great. It's just reminding people that he existed and be like, oh yeah, before the knee stuff, he was incredible.
Blazers got robbed. They had the record they had with LaMarcus, Brandon Roy, and Greg Oden when they all actually played was what, 50 something, and like they had a massively great record with those guys.
That was the Blazers had like a couple of eras where they easily could have had a couple of championships. The Clyde Drexler, I'm drawing a blank on all the other guys. Porter, right? God, I can see his face. But regardless, that Clyde Drexler era Blazers, that team was so good. They just couldn't win the championship. And then if health had cooperated, the Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge, Greg Oden, those teams, if those guys were 100% healthy, that was a dynasty. That was a dynasty in the making. And they couldn't get a championship out of any of that stuff. What a checkered injury history they have going back to like Bill Walton. Just people talk about the Clippers being cursed. Yeah, well, that was just a shitty decision. But the people talk about the Clippers being cursed, and people don't really say that about the Blazers, but the Blazers kind of are Clippers light.
It's also probably because people just see their draft history and they're like, well, maybe they deserved it for, passing on Kevin Durant and taking Sam Bowie and taking Thomas Robinson and taking you can go down the line.
Yeah, I won't fault them for the Kevin Durant. I mean, in retrospect, but like Greg Oden was the consensus guy. I know Danny Ainge will tell you otherwise. And there were plenty of people who thought Kevin Durant was the guy. But I just remember going through that when I was doing redsarmy.com, we had a page called Operation Oden. And like it was just keep on tanking. We're going to start covering all of the Ohio State games where he was playing because everybody get ready for that number 1 pick, Greg Oden in Boston. That's going to change everything. Luckily, it went the way it went, and the Big Three was formed. But we were full on Operation Oden back then. And then, like at the very end, we're like, we should like include like Destination Durant at the end, just kind of like because this kid's starting to come on, and we might be the guy.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. All right, last thing before we let you go. So I don't think you've been on the pod since one we changed our name to How About Them Celtics, and 2 the inception of what we call the Rat List. And I'm going to put it on the screen now if I can get it up here. Yeah, I have to add the file because I had to remake it. But the Rat List is effectively people being rats. And the background
is this an old Janos kind of reference? Is that like...
Oh, I didn't even catch that. It is not.
Sam, explain the inception while I fix the background.
Yes.
Because I sold here.
Rat List, the rat comes from a good friend of mine when I was working in news. He's an umpire. So when people really give him a hard time on the diamond, calls them rats. He calls anybody that complains to the official a rat. But the term has blossomed into anybody that just kind of makes your day annoying, whether it be drivers or anybody else. Jack loves to pick on drivers. I love to complain about drivers. I'll start. This is a little bit morbid, but
as an example,
my Rat List bonus one that I saved from the recording earlier. My mom is one of those very cynical, straight to the point people. Now she's trying to get a little bit more information on this year's Celtics team, so she's asking me about like things that have changed. And I was talking to her about Kristaps. I was like, "You won't believe it. This guy's so big. He's 7'3", and she responded by saying, "Wow, he's gonna die early." That was her response. So I will Rat List her for that.
So is she of the opinion like a Great Dane lives to 7? So like
she
the Great Dane of humans, like
she suggested we nickname him the Great Dane.
The Great Dane
is what she said. Right. Yeah.
I mean,
that, Jack.
I mean, I'm 6'5", so that kind of puts me in the lower range. So can I Rat List your mom too, or is that crossing?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, another perfect example.
Just making me face my mortality on a basketball podcast. That's brutal.
Another perfect example for you. If this is basically a platform to complain about stuff, to make fun of people who do rat-like things. Another perfect example of somebody who could potentially be rat listed. If we had Jay on the pod, would probably rat list Jan Packard for this image that is now.
Yes,
that's the best. That is
amazing.
It's like, I mean, there's the beauty of it is the forced perspective too, because Jay is like 2 feet behind Porzingis in the background there. So he then looks smaller than usual, but it looks like Porzingis is dropping his 8-year-old off to school. He's got the backpack, he's got the hat, the mismatched hat jacket combo, because he's like Kristaps was like, no, wear your blue hat. And he's like, no, I want to wear my orange hat today. And he finally, fine, shut up. You can wear your orange hat. And he's like, he sees the neighbor and like the kid's crying and he's like, oh, hey, kids, right? And so, he's standing defiantly while he's supposed to be walking towards the thing because he didn't get to take his stuffed animal with him to school. Like that's. And then there's Brian Robb also documenting this. Like he's right there, like getting his camera ready. Like, look at this I understand how ridiculous this image is.
I saw Jay with the clenched fist, and my first thought was, this is when your 5-year-old son gets out of bed at night to ask for a drink of water. Yeah, he's asking for a drink of water. He's like, Mom, please. Or like, Mom, I threw up. Come help me.
What an amazing image. This is
amazing.
Smithsonian. This has to be his like profile picture. Like,
yeah.
If anybody knows how to hack Jay's Twitter, just so I can make this his profile picture. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to tweet anything. I just want to make this his profile picture. The funny thing is, like, after the game, like, so he's walking out right here. Like 30 seconds later, I walk out behind him and he says, how do I get out of this building again? So I showed him towards the tunnel. So I'm walking next to him. And Suichi Terada of Mass Live was like, he makes you look so small. It's ridiculous. It's like, yeah, it's a little outrageous.
It's crazy.
I have a picture of me with Sambi Mutombo that makes me look really small.
Oh.
Pull that up.
Yeah, please. But yeah, so the Ratless and Matt the Rat, our mascots on the screen, is effectively just our platform to either complain about things that make us angry or Ratless people who did annoying stuff. Like my brother at pickup basketball the other day was getting mad. I said this in the last podcast, but I'm still angry. Or he's getting mad because his team's losing, and when Henry is my brother gets mad, he just fouls. When he's awake. Yeah, when he's awake. For context, Sean, my brother has narcolepsy, so Sam always says he needs to stay awake more. He just, instead of setting a screen on me, he thinks the guy I'm guarding is gonna drive, and so he pushes me, but the guy I'm guarding posts me up instead, so he just shoves me into this guy's back, and I get the wind knocked out of me, and then they call a foul on me for running into it. So I was very angry. So if you have anything you'd like to complain about, if there was a Dunkin' worker who got your order wrong, if there was somebody who cut you off in traffic, that's what the Rat List is for. If you've got anything that comes to mind,
I guess I'll perpetually have like Tristan Thompson on my Rat List.
Oh, good one.
Tristan Thompson, who famously said the regular season is horseshit, and then the Celtics went on to have like a terrible regular season. And I remember being able to ask him on a Zoom at the end of the season, be like, "So, you said the regular season is horseshit. Still feel that way?" And he was like, I knew you were going to ask me that question. And then he's like, obviously you got to blah, 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 blah. I'm like, inside I was like, fuck you, man. Like, this is
a good Rat List.
Yeah. So Tristan Thompson forever on my Rat List.
Yep.
Also on my Rat List, anybody who doesn't use the zipper method to merge into traffic, right? Like, yeah. Yes. I do every time I'm driving to the Garden. I have a drive up from Rhode Island. And there are a couple of instances driving into the tunnel, and like it's every other car. It's a very simple process. Every other car, zipper your way in. Every once in a while, someone zooms past to try to get in. I'm like, what does that accomplish? You are now literally a half second ahead of where you were going to be before, and you've stopped traffic. Everybody behind you is pissed. What are you accomplishing? You've accomplished nothing other than inciting rage amongst everybody. So, anybody who does not use the zipper method to merge into traffic is on my Rat List, and that was extensive yesterday heading into the Garden.
As always, as per usual, I broke out. I shared the screen on Google Earth to explain my road rage earlier on the podcast, or maybe later on this podcast. But it gets bad.
Jeez.
It gets bad. Yeah. I guess technically that's going to be after this, but I think that's about it. Any other, I'm glad we like to give guests a platform to get their rage out. We talked to Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports last week, and what did he rat list? He rat listed, I think it was a coffee shop worker or just some retail worker. Like he was at the eye doctor, and he said, they told me you got to have this copay might cover it. And then he said, does it really? And she goes, no, I'm just told to say that it might. And so he's like, rat list the people who told this lady to lie to me. So
That reminds me of another rat list. Since
Yes.
we're
I love this.
expressing
We're
rage.
rolling.
Yes.
How about, since we were talking about doctors' offices, how about doctors' offices who cancel appointments last minute on you? And if you were to cancel last minute on them, they would charge you for the appointment. But when they cancel on you, they aren't charged. You don't get money from them. You don't get a freebie. You don't get the next appointment comped. No, nothing. It's, what about that? That's
a good one.
Yeah. Did that happen to you recently? Is this what
happened to my wife? Happened to my wife.
Okay. Yep. Bingo. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for entertaining the rat list. I'm glad you got some release out of
Stepping into the nonsense.
Nice
with
place
us today.
Nice place. But yeah, thanks, John, for joining us on the show. You can follow John on Twitter at John_Karalis and Locked On Celtics and all that good stuff. I will say, whenever I'm looking to see how our YouTube channel's doing, I just go to yours. It makes me a little sad, but it also gives me a goal to strive for. So
you can at least look at the trends.
Yeah, we're like,
You're like,
what are these
okay,
guys
he's
watching?
down to 8,000 views today.
We're down to 200. I guess John's down from 10 to 8, so it's a slow day. But yeah, seriously, we appreciate you coming on the show.
When I remember having a conversation with my wife when we were doing this whole thing, switching to YouTube. I was like, do I want to do it and all that stuff? And like the first, like the beginning of it, you're like, oh wow, 100 views is amazing, and then 200.
Yeah,
it's all about sticking with it. Honestly, it's really all about just hitting that next goal. And once you get, I don't know how many subscribers you guys have.
1,500
something.
Yeah, so that, I'm sure once you hit 1,000, you started probably noticing like a little bit of a accelerated subscription. So like you're starting to get monetized. YouTube will be like, hey, we want to monetize this because we want money. So keep working and just play the SEO game, and that's it. You'll be
Jack's the king.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We like throw back and forth on the titles sometimes when we need the ideas.
I mean, we've been posting.
That's also
daily
on my rat list. That's also my rat list. Google, everything having to go through Googling, determining my livelihood, because I put certain SEO in my thing. Like, oh great, this popped off. I got a good. This is good views. I'm getting good revenue from that. Now I get to eat tomorrow. Like, it's not that bad. It's the fact that everything goes through Google, and if you don't put the right words in the right place, then not enough people are going to see it. And like, that's it. It's not about how good your show is. It's about getting the right words to trick the search engine algorithm to say, here, you should watch this. That pisses me off because so many people do good work and Google is like, nah. Now we don't like the 3 words you use in your title, so fuck all the work that you did. We're not going to show it to anybody.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been posting daily since June 1st, which was fun when it was free agency. But when we posted Oleg Balcherowski highlights, it was less fun. Funnily enough, though, that's like the 5th most viewed video on our channel. So people just like Oleg in the summer league for whatever reason.
Little tip. These foreign fringe guys are great for SEO. Now, again, you're just gaming the system, but like,
Nimi Skeda,
people love
Nimi. When you've got the first, like he's the first Portuguese-born player, like, all of Portugal, and like
love it.
Half of Fall River wants to like pay attention to him, so it's like they're into it. Yeah, all of these fringe guys from small countries that are fighting to make it are good SEO because the people in those countries are searching for that person all the time.
Yeah. Vincent Valerio Badon was another key one for us this summer. You gotta roll with what works. But anyways, thank you again, John. We appreciate you joining us on the show. We'll have to have you on again soon.
Thanks, y'all. See ya.
Welcome back in. Thank you to John Karalis for joining the show. I believe that was his 7th appearance. We'll talk about it with him when he gets there. But John's been a constant face on the program since we started it. So we appreciate him for sticking with us, even though we're kind of stupid. We're kind of idiots. And
that's kind of the point, though. Like, I feel like the common man might relate to the two of us a bit more than somebody that's very bright, because they're like, I really think that they should shoot less threes too, or I care about who the backup center is, or you name it. what's the starting lineup going to be? No way Drew Holiday can come off the bench. Like all that stuff.
People get mad. People get very mad at that. But let's go to the emails. Let's check in to see what people had to say. I don't think we forgot about you guys. And when I say you guys, I mean RJ. Thank you, RJ, for hanging out with us.
The man.
Yeah. RJ, use all the guards. Evening, guys. I had to miss the pregame banter because it was my choice for the family TV night, and we all watched the game together. It was fun for my 12-year-olds, and I enjoyed it. Even if it was a little rocky in others, it also gave us a glimpse of what the bench depth chart looks like. I like the 2-guard set with White and Holiday getting the start, as they set a snappy pace right from the start, whether it was getting the ball up the court quickly or zipping the ball around with purpose in the front court. They made sure the ball didn't stick and there was motion in the offense. Porzingis continues to impress offensively and at all levels, while his defensive presence keeps teams from trying to drive to the hoop. As pretty as the Celtics looks with their 3-pointers, the defense still allowed too many relatively good looks for the Knicks shooters throughout the game. I hope this is just a matter of time and practice and people getting familiar with each other in the new alignments. The bench rotation looked unsurprising, exception of Banton logging more minutes than Kornet. Horford, Pritchard, and Hauser all clocked in between 21 to 23 minutes, while Kornet was the third big on the bench, expected. Banton used his height and length to help the Celtics press. Handling point guard duties, Banton looked more like a return to the Dennis Schroeder model, where he was calling his own number more than distributing the ball. O'Shea didn't look bad as the 11th man, but he didn't do anything distinguishing either, which is probably what you would like to see from anybody deep in the rotation. A final point, even though it was the preseason and it was the Knicks' second unit, I feel like the Celtics were panicking when their lead was cut in the third and fourth quarters.
They didn't feel like they were.
They kept their composure. Oh, didn't feel like the Celtics panicking. Good. They kept their composure, played their game, and trusting each other to stay in control as a team. I think that's the best takeaway of the night. Be well, RJ Johnson. Thoughts, Sam, on the
no, I think that's a good take from RJ. When we did the post-game little upload for you in the morning, you saw it on Wednesday. That was what we talked about. I was obviously pissed that they blew the lead a couple times because that's just something I get upset about. I don't like when the Celtics do that. But RJ has a great point. In the third quarter, things didn't look great, but they still only lost the quarter by 6 when it felt like they lost it by a lot more. In the fourth quarter, they didn't let anything get out of hand. Porzingis and Al Horford were on the floor at the beginning of the quarter along with Peyton Pritchard, and they managed to put the game out of reach. Now, the deep bench guys kind of almost gave it back, got to single digits again, but any of the big boys did not allow it to happen, which is good.
Yeah, like I just said, they kept their composure to some degree, which was nice to see. I will say on the Banton versus Kornet part, I think part of that was probably that Banton got a lot more garbage time minutes, and so he was in when it was sort of like, okay, we don't care anymore. We got our rotation in. I don't think Banton will play much in the regular season outside of that. So I would expect Luke to log more minutes than him, at least for the most part. And I don't think Luke's a guy they really care about. Okay, he needs to be the 8th guy in terms of minutes on the team. They'll just use him when they need to use him, and if they'd rather go small at times, then they won't use him. But that's kind of what he's there for. So good for Luke. I thought the guards looked good. The Celtics were playing hard on the defensive end all night. I wrote about it for Celtics blog today. Throwing a bunch of different looks out there. Full court pressing, trapping. Porzingis said Mazzulla gave him the green light to trap when he sees fit. So I do think part of it is them getting used to different defensive things. Tatum talked about learning new terminologies and schemes and stuff like that. So I think we'll see it take a little while for them to get used to those things. But I thought it was a good first showing for that starting group. I was happy with it. And Horford looked good off the bench, which I think we talked about with John, or I predict that we will talk about with John. So good all around. Yeah. RJ, another email. In the deep end of this offseason, Morning Jack and Spider Sam. How do we feel, Sam, about the
I like that. That was probably going to be my Twitter name for a day on Friday.
There we go. This year might be the most consistently I've followed any sports team during its offseason. A large part of that is thanks to you two and HBTC. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Not just publishing every day, but putting up stuff that's worth following, including the rat list and the trivia and the calorie count game. You didn't breathlessly clickbait BS or Strive views. Please see our Peyton Pritchard video,
cooks Jalen Brunson.
We appreciate you for watching anyways. We thought it was fun.
What was the other thing somebody said was clickbait? The Drew Holiday.
I don't back that one as much. I thought that one was
I don't think that was clickbait either.
I mentioned all this because as we get game action, it becomes easier and easier to misread one's game results as a trend. Holiday's on the bench for the first preseason game, or Alice subbing in against the Knicks. Banton and Brissett got time as the 10th and 11th guys, and everyone is going, what does it all mean? Like the old jokes, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Trends will emerge, strategies will come into focus, but those things require more than just 1 or 2 data points. I appreciate you guys keeping an even keel while online versions of AM radio cranks are shouting mindlessly. Keep up the good work, even if you are in your Spider-Man underoos. Sam, be well, RJ. Are you in your Spider-Man underoos?
Ooh. I might actually wear these. These were a Secret Santa gift. They got the little comics.
That's a great gift. Those are sick. Yeah. I like those. I had Minecraft ones.
I've never been like a pajamas guy though. I usually like I have these sweat shorts that I just wear everywhere.
Okay.
Like I always have like a house pair of shorts.
I'm a big pajama pants guy. I enjoy them. They're comfy. Big on pajama pants. Yeah, I don't think you can read too much into it. I do think these couple games are going to be Missoula's way to test the lineups. With how well Al came off the bench last night, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what they roll with. I mean, but that's also just because I have had the opinion of that's what they should do. So I liked it. That's my preference. I know, Sam, you were hesitant to Al to the bench. Is there any update on your thought process since then?
Well, we talked about it a little bit last night after the game, and it's like, wow, he looked a little bit better off the bench than I thought he would. He actually did provide a spark, in my opinion. He came out, scored 5 quick points. He was hustling. I believe he had a big save on an out-of-bounds play. He looked very energized off the bench, which is not something I really expected for him as he transitions into that role. It's not something we've seen from him throughout his career, really. He only did it in Philly, and he wasn't very good there. So that was the big red flag to me. But instead, you actually saw a pretty productive showing from him. The starters looked okay together, and when he came in the game, things went up to another level. They scored 40 points in the first quarter, and they only had 18 when he came in, 21 when he came in. They did a really good job when he was on the floor. They looked good.
Yeah, I'm in, and it sounds like from everything the Celtics are saying, or the guys are saying after the game, like Porzingis was like, we just want to win, we don't care. Tatum was like, one of the 6 guys is gonna have to sit, knowing that it's not gonna be him, but still he's
I was gonna say, why don't you sacrifice?
Yeah, well, what? Maybe not. Maybe
Tatum. You want to save his legs? Imagine Tatum comes in and plays against all the bench guys.
That would be funny as hell. That would be funny as hell. But there's no world. there's no world where Tatum comes off the bench. But thank you to RJ for tuning in with the emails. We appreciate you. Let's move on to the NBA portion. I think we did some NBA stuff with John, but we have some more NBA news to get to because we did bulk of our Celtic stuff with John. And we will start here with the latest on James Harden. James Serrani reporting. James Harden is a no-show at Philadelphia 76ers practice today. Sources tell The Athletic. Harden has not been present with the team since Sunday. Joel Embiid said on Harden, he wasn't here today, so obviously I think he probably had something more important to do, or something came up.
Something came up.
Good cover up. I saw somewhere and I forget where.
How can you not like Embiid? That dude is so funny. I'm sorry to talk over you, but he is hysterical.
No, you're not. Don't lie to me.
Well, I think it was worth pointing out. You have to give him a shout out. Maybe he gets traded here someday. You never know. But I think he's just hysterical. I don't get how people consistently. I don't like the way he falls around. But all right, back to you.
Friend of the pod, Jake Fisher, reporting just as he was during Sixers media days, James Harden is in Houston instead of Philadelphia for this morning's team practice, according to league sources. So just not with the team. And like Embiid said, he's just got better stuff to do, I guess, which this whole thing's weird. It's just
kind of hurtful. I mean, James Harden, Houston kind of picked Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet over him because there was rumblings that he may go back this summer.
Well, you saw what happened there, right?
What's that?
Apparently the thing was Houston was ready to offer him a max slot and everything, all this good stuff. And then it came out that Harden wanted to lead the league in scoring again. And Ime Udoka said, no, we don't want you to do that.
Ime was like, whoa. Wait.
Literally, that is what happened. This whole thing's weird because he was with the team. Then the reports came out that he's actually been nice and now he's not with the team. Like I said, I feel like this is Harden has nothing against Embiid, against Maxey, against Nick Nurse. So like he was fine when he was there. He just doesn't want to like be a part of the organization anymore. So you can disagree with his handling of it. I know you do. I know we've made our point in the Harden situation a million times. It's just weird. And then the reports came out that
it's weird too.
Yeah, but the reports came out the Clippers aren't willing to part with Terrence Mann in a deal, which I stand by. Is just fucking stop. Just trade him. Just trade Terrence Mann. Get the deal over with. That shouldn't be the whole.
They're posturing. It's what Miami did all summer, and it bit them in the ass because they're like, we're the only team that's willing to make this move. So we're going to keep the guy we want to keep, and you guys can't do anything about it. And as of right now, Philly can't do anything about it, but they also don't have to trade Harden. There might be a little bit more pressure on Philadelphia to trade Harden just because the season's about to start and they actually want to compete. Whereas Portland, even if like the season started and Lillard was still there, it doesn't really make a difference for what their objective is as they go in. I don't really know if I'm a member of the 76ers, how I feel about this. Tyrese Maxey talked to Redick about it. He didn't seem that upset. But I feel like if I'm Embiid or I'm even Maxey, maybe less Maxey because he's going to get a little bit more opportunity if Harden is sitting out and pouting and everything. But you're kind of pissed. You're like, damn, like we were almost in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. We had the Celtics. We want to run it back. We got a little bit of extra help this summer. Brought in Kelly Oubre, who looks good. Paul Reed's looking comfortable off the bench or in the starting lineup in the preseason as Embiid has not played yet. I don't know how I feel about all this. If I'm on the Sixers, I'd be kind of irritated.
It's weird. I get it. I was more saying it's weird because of how many guys were saying, yeah, Harden's been great. Like Maxey could have just said, yeah, Harden's been there. It's been fine. Like he didn't have to be overly
No,
nice.
it's
He's
true.
Like Harden's been awesome since he's been there. This was when he was on the JJ Redick pod. So I truly believe like Harden has nothing against his teammates or Coach Nurse. He just really doesn't want to be a part of the organization because he feels, regardless of your opinion or my opinion, he feels that they screwed him. So he's just mad.
Sure.
You can disagree with the way he's handling it. I don't think he's handling it well. It's
From an
just
outside
a whack
perspective, it
situation.
is always like, well, can they really pay him? But if you're in the situation, they're like, they're going to pay me. You would be heated if they're like, maybe we don't pay you. Sure.
You would be mad if they say
Yeah.
they're going to give you millions of dollars and then they say, psych, we're not going to give you millions of dollars. Probably not fun. But there is that. Speaking of the Clippers, Sam, you're putting it on here. The Clippers are earning back your respect. I did see this story, but since it's your thing, I'm going to let you rock with it.
Yeah. So I was on Twitter this morning and I stumbled across this story where the Clippers kind of earned a little bit respect back from me after pissing me off royally in June. So apparently a Clippers employee went on Twitter this summer and used a burner account to start a rumor that Taylor Swift and Austin Reaves were/are dating. After the tweet was sent, it was a singular tweet and it somehow blew up. Stories about a potential Reeves-Swift romance began springing up in Yahoo, 17, the New York Post, and Sports Illustrated back in June, according to Google Trends from June 4th to June 10th. The search terms Austin Reaves and Taylor Swift went from having a popularity score of 0 to the maximum of 100. So they created quite a stir, the Clippers did.
That they did.
But this actually could have went the other way, and this comes from Fox Sports' Melissa Rowland, by the way, for credit. You've seen over the past month what Taylor Swift has done to the NFL. The NFL made Taylor Swift their cover photo on Twitter. When she is at games, half the talking point is that she is at the game.
Yeah.
Had she been involved with the NBA, it could have been kind of terrible.
For us, yeah. It wouldn't have been fun.
I mean, that's a lot of nonsense you're going to have to deal with and listen to.
Yeah, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. It's weird. I'm a big fan of Taylor Swift's music.
You have the shirt.
And I like Taylor Swift, but I don't want to like hear about it every time. But you understand why the NFL does it, right? Like you have to, like it is just smart marketing.
If you're in the NFL, do you really have to do that? Like you have all these numbskull idiots every week that just sit in front of the TV and drool on themselves all day.
Exactly. And those people are going to watch no matter what. You got them. They're locked in. No matter what, they're watching.
Yeah,
they're watching.
It is true.
You know who's not watching? 14-year-old girls, right? You know who's watching now? 14-year-old girls. And how else, in what universe outside of this? You see what they're doing with the slime games, the Toy Story games. They're trying to appeal to audiences that don't care about the NFL. This gave them the perfect opportunity to apply to an audience, and they never would have gotten otherwise. And so you have to. You objectively have to, because all the people who are mad about Taylor Swift are going to fucking watch anyways.
That's what I love so much about the NBA is it's so niche, such a like cut off like aspect or group of people that enjoy it. It's like the people on Twitter, and that's it. Like if you're in, you're in, and if you're not, then you kind of like stay out of it. You start letting people in, it becomes a problem. Like, I'm pro gatekeeping when it comes to the NBA.
Oh my God. Shams.
see?
Joel
Yeah,
Embiid
that's
is
what it
signing
was.
an endorsement deal with Skechers. That's all time. That's
So what does that really say about Skechers? They now have Joel Embiid, who was the MVP last year, has never made a conference finals, in Julius Randle.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? What does it mean?
Well, I mean, if you're Joel Embiid, kind of a bad move to associate yourself with Julius Randle.
I have to imagine they gave him the most disgusting amount of money that you can possibly imagine, right?
No, they definitely gave him like, here's 50% of the company.
Yeah, they gave him some crazy shit. Oh my God!
By the way, did you see Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback, wants a percentage of whatever team drafts him? Interesting time for that to come out after he shit the bed against Notre Dame on Saturday. He was terrible. He threw like 3 picks. We bet on USC. It was not good.
Still tough. Smart for him to ask for that, though. It looks like Embiid signed or wore Skechers shoes at practice the other day. I will say, though, he went from Under Armour to Skechers.
Lateral move.
Yeah. Outside of
even
the
though
Curry,
Under Armour has Curry, I wonder if Skechers
can
can do anything fun with these guys, though. Because, like you said, lateral move, but Under Armour has done some cool stuff with Curry. Like, I think people actually like the Curry shoes. I've never personally worn them. But before Curry, nobody was wearing Under Armour for basketball.
No. I mean, I will buy Skechers just to see what they are. I just want to see. Oh my God. Terrence Mann also expected to sign a deal with Skechers. That's the funniest shit ever.
Wait. We were like, oh my God, did the Clippers say, all right, like, well, we have enough respect for Harden where we're not going to make him play with somebody that's wearing Skechers.
That's awesome. That's just the best signing they could have made. But yeah, I'm going to buy Joel Embiid Skechers because I want to see if they're comfy. So
what happened is the executives at Skechers, they went and saw Air last spring, and they were like, we got to do that. That's how we're going to make our come up. Air, the movie about Jordan signing with Nike. Great movie.
Yeah. I mean, I have owned Skechers recently in the last few years. They're comfy. They're very comfortable. The memory foam, very nice. So we're going to have to see if they make good basketball sneakers too. You can laugh. Skechers are funny.
Jack, who told me when I go to Celtics practice, I really need to step up my sneaker game. Also,
Did
Jack,
I say that?
Yeah, you did. You said that to me. I think you said that.
No, I said I need to step up my sneaker game.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh! I thought you were like telling me that I mocked.
Oh, you. Like
no, I did. No. Yeah.
Now Jack is ready to buy Skechers.
I'm not gonna wear Skechers to practice. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I will wear Skechers to practice. What of it? That's fine. They can bully.
I hope the day that you wear Skechers to practice, and I'll bring this up to John when we talk to him. I hope somebody takes a picture of your shoes and posts it on Twitter and makes fun of you.
I'm gonna wear Crocs to practice sometime. See what John says.
Maybe
John
they won't let you back in.
John
hates Crocs.
He does. I'm gonna bring it up to him on the pod.
Yeah, I want to
hear
hear this
with him.
I'll let you guys go at it.
Kenny King the fourth quarter tweeted, Skechers picked up 2 untouchable players and Julius Randle in one offseason.
It's true.
But let's move on. Next NBA thing we have is Calvin Booth, who is the GM of the Nuggets, recently talked to Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer, which we talked about on the pod. Basically said a bunch of stuff like, yeah, I warned teams shouldn't sign Bruce Brown. Also said that like we couldn't have 2 guys who can't defend on the same roster, so they traded Bones Highland. Yeah, he said they're going to be a dynasty. They traded Bones Highland because he can't defend. They also said Michael Porter Jr. can't defend. And then to the media today, I know we've brought this meme out 3 times in the last 2 minutes, but he literally goes, whoa, wait. I mean, that's literally what he did. He goes, under no circumstances would I make or approve those kind of comments for public consumption. That's not my character as a person or an executive.
Very telling. Said it.
Yeah, very telling. You just go, I would never make them public. So you'd said it, you meant it, you just didn't know you were on the record.
I mean, I guess that's kind of fair because you just don't want that message going out to the public. But like, also,
but he's
a GM. Like,
yeah,
this is how he goes about his decisions. Like, what he said isn't that outrageous. The problem was he kind of threw Porter Jr. under the bus, being like, that guy can't defend.
Yes, I agree. Just weird behavior. It's very funny.
I thought it was respectable. I was like, damn, all right, like whatever.
But do you think MPJ's mad though? Like that's dangerous. Like to be playing after a title you're wanting to go back to back. Like
I think if you're MPJ, you have no choice. If you get mad, you also have to get better. Like you can't just be like, wow, he was mean to me and he criticized an aspect of my game that I could be very effective at. If I was
Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
it's the Ben Simmons maneuver.
Yeah, so you have a choice. You can be Ben Simmons or you can get better.
Yeah, I agree. And last thing, sticking with the Nuggets here.
Calvin Booth also paying him quite a bit of money.
He is, yeah. MPJ very rich. MPJ very rich. Last thing, sticking with the Nuggets here. Nikola Jokic
is last thing, but
just a horse girl. Second to last thing. Nikola Jokic is just a horse girl. It's just funny. Did you see the video of him at practice?
So yeah, I did see it. We're getting to the point where the bit's dead.
I don't think so.
The summer's over. I don't really care that Jokic doesn't care about basketball anymore. I relate to it because like not everybody likes their job as they go in X amount of hours per week.
Mm-hmm.
But also like, all right, cool.
Well, it's not a bit. It's just he just likes horses. And
he's definitely leaning into it a little bit.
I don't think so. You think Jokic is leaning into a social media bit? Dude doesn't give a fuck.
I think he's
no,
leaning in, maybe not all the way in. I think he's doing it more than he's ever done it.
No, I think people are showing it more than they've ever shown it because
he
is popular
and
won the
case.
title.
That's not a bad point.
You're also just a cynic, so you're just an asshole.
No, the time has come for me to turn my back on Jokic.
You're the worst. You hate stuff the general public likes. As soon as
do.
like more than like 10 people enjoy something, you just said fuck that. Except for Spider-Man, clearly.
Yeah, well, Spider-Man's spectacular. Just amazing. All right. Okay, NBA. Considering going back to East-West for the All-Star game. Commissioner Adam Silver said Wednesday during an appearance on ESPN that the league is considering going back to the typical East versus West All-Star game format per Tim Reynolds of the Associated Press. Personally, I think it's a W.
Instead of the draft or
instead of the draft?
Nah, out.
I don't think they've maximized the potential of the draft. Like, they don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt. They did the what do you mean no? They did the reserves first, so there would be no last pick last year. But then still, like they're being like pussies about it. Like either do it all the way or don't do it. That's kind of the point of this. That's why people watch. They want to see who the last pick is, so they can be like, haha, that guy sucks, even though he's an all-star.
We all knew who the last pick was, though. Like, we're not stupid. Like, it's not like they avoided it. Everyone knew it was Lauri Markkanen, right? Like, it was obvious, duh.
Yeah, but I mean, like, them even trying to cover it up is stupid. Like, just don't.
The draft has given too many fun moments for it.
No, I think it has too. I think the Tatum Brown back and forth is always fun when it happens.
No, I mean like the actual like draft, not even just what's coming.
I don't
like,
watch it, so I
Jokic passing up. Jokic last year thought he was the last pick, so he walked out in front and said, "Okay, I'll join your team," and just cut off Lauri Markkanen. Like Lauri was just sitting there, like, "Oh, okay, I'll be the last pick." Like Jokic, basically, it looked like Jokic was saying, "I'm better than this guy. I know you're picking me." So he walked up and joined LeBron's team. And he afterwards he goes, "I didn't even know Lauri hadn't been picked yet." And then a couple years ago, when the James Harden issue was going on with the Nets, Kevin Durant picked Rudy Gobert over James Harden, and Charles Barkley calls him out on Twitter. I like the draft. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I think it's good when it's televised. Also, Giannis picking Dame over Drew Holiday, telling future.
Maybe that's why they did it. They were like, can't have this tampering.
Yeah. Never know. I enjoy it. I do like the East West though. I like the format, but I like the draft as well. So like I guess I'm indifferent. I think both have their you know what they need to do? Fuck all that. Wear the normal jerseys. Like have some logo.
Yeah. I was literally about to say the same thing. It's so funny you brought that up. That was gonna be my final like little tidbit on this is I think it looks cool when they all just wear whatever uniform of the team they're from and then they have an all-star patch.
I liked
but then they can't make extra money.
That's what I'm saying. I like the compromise they made when they had the black and white with the team logos in black and white. I think that was a good compromise. So I enjoyed that. Even do it in like, if you want to keep the red and blue or the purple, yellow and purple or whatever.
You just make a purple version of the Celtics jersey.
Well, no, out on that because I don't want a Lakers colored Celtics jersey. I don't like that idea.
Well, then don't do it. Just do the black and white.
Agree. Okay. I'll back it. All right, Sam, we're getting rid of who he play for. And I'm going to ask you where he play. I'm gonna look at former NBA stars, and you have to tell me what country they signed in.
Okay, sure.
Because there's no more players that you wouldn't know what team they're on. So we're gonna play this version instead. And maybe I'll throw John.
This is
when he jumps
gone away from inform the viewers of where players have gone in the offseason to make Sam look like a dick.
Yeah, correct. We'll start with Shemi Ojale. We'll start with the former Celtic. He's signed.
Shemi is. Oh man. I actually don't know. Like, I think I know, but I know my answer's wrong. He plays. Does he play? This is really bad. Does he play in Spain? Is he on Barcelona?
He doesn't. He does play in Spain, but he's not on Barcelona. But I'll
give you Real
Madrid. No, he is on. I gotta find it. Where'd it go? I think it's Valencia Basket.
Oh, it is. You're correct.
Valencia Basket. Yeah. Valencia Basket is where he plays. Anthony Bennett. Where does he play?
Fuck if I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no clue.
Go ahead.
Oh, wait. That's an Asian country.
Does he play in China?
No.
Does he play in the Philippines?
No.
Does he play in Russia?
Nope.
Japan? They have basketball in Japan?
I assume so, but no.
The hell does he play?
Not Taiwan either. He plays in South Korea. South Korea,
South
baby.
Korea. Yeah, there was no way I was getting that one. I don't even feel bad.
Anthony Bennett's hanging out. Luigi Datome, where does he play?
Does he play on Fenerbahce still?
No.
Does he play in Italy?
He does play in Italy. I was trying to give you a little.
Play on Milan?
He plays, Olympia Milano. There you go.
He was on Fenerbahce for a little while.
I think so, yeah. Tremont Waters. And Sam?
It's not France anymore?
I need the exact team he plays for. I need the team.
You need the team?
Mm-hmm. And I'll give you 2 guesses.
Is it in France?
No. I'll let you guess the country, but then you have to guess the team.
Oh, he's in China.
Where does he play?
And he must play on the Shanghai Sharks or the
doesn't.
Guangdong Tigers.
He plays for the Guangdong
only 2 teams.
Tigers. I had to. You come on. I had to make you guess.
That's fine.
Yeah, Tremont Waters plays for the Guangdong Tigers with a. Is this another former Celtic? I think this is another former Celtic. I'm just confirming that he played for them. He played with Marshawn Brooks on the Guangdong Tigers now.
Former Providence Friar Marshawn Brooks.
There you go. All right, what else we got? I'm just scrolling here, looking for some other former Celtic. Kadeem Allen, former Celtic. Who he play for, Sam? Or where he play, I should say.
I feel like I've actually seen this not long ago, but I don't know.
Okay.
Is he also in China?
No.
No,
he's not. It is a country you've guessed already, though. If that
Russia?
Gives you any sort of clue. No.
Is it an Asian country?
It is not.
Okay. Is it Turkey?
No.
Or Italy? Or
it's Italy. It's Italy.
The team
plays for Palacastro Forlì. I've never heard of him.
You have to pronounce the thing if I have to guess this country.
That's fair.
That's a fair trade-off.
Jabari Parker.
Barcelona, Spain.
Yep. I just saw another former Celtic too.
Kemba Walker. Monaco.
Cabin Gale. Cabin Gale.
Oh, Mfondu. He went to, I want to say Greece.
He is in Greece. There you go. Another former Celtic. We're on a roll here. Juwan Morgan. Where he play?
Juwan Morgan, huh? I don't know.
What do we got?
I feel like he should be in the G League. Like, he's not that far away from like when he was in the NBA. He was in the NBA
overseas.
Title.
It's a country you said already.
Is he playing in Turkey?
No. It is it's Russia.
Russia.
Plays in Russia. Yep. All right. Let's get into a little bit of rat list. We're gonna do rat list with John too, so this won't be a super long rat list. But Sam, I'll let you kick this off here.
So the first rat list, I forget where I was yesterday. I was somewhere. And like, you go in. Oh, I was in a Jersey Mike's, actually. I was in Jersey Mike's. And you go in. And for one thing I noticed about Jersey Mike's is the workers will talk to you. Like, they definitely are like instructed to strike up a conversation, which is impressively probably easier than you would think. But I asked this one person, I was like, oh, like, they're like, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm good. How are you? And then they say, well. I hate when people do that. I hate when people say, well, when you ask them how they're doing, because, yeah, it's technically the right thing to say, like the correct grammatical way to respond, but nobody talks like that. So you're just a rat, right. Especially after I've already said good. Like, just understand the level of like competence you're dealing with and just play to my level. Like, you don't have to try and one-up me. That's like when I was at the place and I was like, you have a good night. And they were like, you have a great night. I was like, well, fuck you then. I hope your night's actually terrible.
Yeah, I back that. I agree with you. I'm going to rattle Duke. So I slept in today for the first time in a while because I'm getting up early for practice, or earlier than normal. I should
What's
say.
your sleeping in now?
I got up at like 11. Maybe.
What's your getting up early?
Like 8:39.
I woke up at 9 today.
Yeah. Okay.
It was fantastic.
It's different levels. I wake up to Duke like whining louder than I've ever heard him like complain and bitch about stuff, right?
To get him a muscle.
He has moved his cage. He like nuzzled his way to cage. I let him out of the cage. He runs to the toilet and starts drinking. He was thirsty. He was sitting for like 3 minutes straight. He was just really
impressive that he
thirsty.
Can run.
Yeah. Well, I say run. It was a limp jog. He's like, come on, I need water. He fucking hustles over there. So yeah, ratless Duke for A, waking me up, and B, just moving his cage, and ratless myself for not putting Matt the Rat on the screen.
What are you gonna do? Ratless, my basketball equipment, just overall, it's been a bad week for things that I own basketball related. So my new Tatums that I think I showed on the camera have perished. The bottoms were coming off of them on Sunday night when Jack and I played. Luckily for me, Nike will let me send them back, and I'm going to get a new pair, which is exciting. So kind of anti-ratless to Nike, but then ratless again because they handle the NBA jerseys, and we all know how we all feel about that. So there's that part of it. Also, ratless my basketball. My basketball, I think, has a hole in it, but I don't know where. And it keeps becoming deflated. Now, I initially thought that this was part of the weather. When it gets cold out, the air comes out the ball. But I was playing yesterday, and I had to pump it twice. So I think this ball has perished, which sucks. I like the ball.
Yeah, that's whack. I agree. All right. I'm going to move Matt for a sec. I made Sam remind me, but I remembered myself. I'm bringing out the diagram. I'm so angry. This shit made me so mad. So, for those not watching on YouTube, which you should be, I pulled up Google Earth. This is the parking lot I was in, Sam. I was right here-ish, like around right here. You see the starting point? You see the dot I made?
Where
I
that
was there.
Car is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am going this way. Going to exit. Come around.
I like
here,
that you can do this. This is fun.
I do too. This is very nice. I hope it lets me do another one. So made that. You saw the path there.
Yep.
Somebody else coming here. George on the road. Trying to come into this parking lot, correct?
Well, technically they would be coming from the other side.
Sure. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. You know what I mean. Coming from the other side.
It'd be really ratless if they were coming from that side. Just driving down the wrong side of the road.
So I go like this, right? I go around here to exit.
Yep.
This person does one of these. I am driving. I want to beat traffic. I'm going to take this angle.
Oh, they cut you off.
And then they flipped me off.
Oh.
I was so fucking mad because I go out the entrance and I deadpan stop. Like I'm coming along and I like screech my brakes to a halt like here. Right. And he like comes in, he looks at me and I look at him like this. I'm like, what are you doing? Like laughing at him. He just goes, fuck you. I'm like, it's like that, the 50 Cent meme. Fuck me. What do you mean fuck me for?
Yeah.
Like, you were wrong. That was the closest I've ever been to getting out or opening my window and saying like, you're a moron. I didn't do anything. You're a fucking idiot. So there's that. And then while we're in Google Earth, let me mosey on down here real quick. Oh wait, let me see if I can find it here. Sorry, we're gonna be doing a little. I can
We're
just
traveling.
go. Yeah, we're traveling. I want to get to Duncan so you can understand. Here it is. So this is the Duncan I was going to. So I went from there to here. Right, I'm coming through the. This is an industrial park. I am coming into this drive-through. You see it here? Drive-through.
Yep.
I'm coming in here. I am driving this way to try to go here. I'm really making use of this pathing thing. It's fun.
I like it.
Somebody is coming out of the Dunkin' drive-through, and they inch out here to try to get out in the middle of the fucking exit.
They block you.
So I have no way to get through. Now, sometimes if I'm feeling nice and there's nothing around and it's fine, I'll be like, just go anyways, right? Just in general, right? Because if I'm not in a rush or am I being an idiot, whatever. Not only was I forced to do that, they then waited a second, like, oh, do you want to go? Like, they did the whole dance. You're like, I don't have a fucking option. So just go. Like, don't do this dance where you're like, oh, are you gonna cut me off? I cannot cut you off because you didn't leave me enough space to even get into the place where I should be able to go anyways. Like, just fucking go. Ratless, the worst.
It is terrible.
People can't drive. Pisses me off. Tank is correct. Needed it. Do we save the rest of the rat list for John, or do we do
the rat list court?
Oh yeah, do we want to do that quick now? I don't know if we have time. We should save Ratless Court. I don't think we have time. We got to go jump on with John. So we'll save Ratless Court. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you very much for stopping by. Again, we'll do more Ratless and stuff with John. So well, actually, you would have fucking listened to that by now. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to check us out on playback, where we're live tonight if you're listening to this on Thursday. Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. And I will let Sam take us out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. If you're watching, you're on the YouTube channel, whether it's ours or CLNS's or CLNS's other one, make sure you subscribe to ours. You can hit the notification bell and you'll get all of our daily uploads right to the front of your phone screen. And it's like, hey, go watch this video. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. You can listen to us there if you want just the audio version. Follow us. Leave a 5-star review. Say something nice. You can find us on social medias at How About Them C's. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can find Jack on Twitter at JackSimoneNBA. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.